Hello and welcome to another investment update video, this time for the end of June quarter, but also the end of financial year. My name is Alex Daniel from the marketing team, and I'm joined today by Reuel Key, who is our investment analyst, and he'll be answering some of our more pressing questions from our members. Welcome, Reuel.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I think the biggest question that we've received so far is, why should I care about how my super is invested when I'm so young?
Yeah, look, I think it's somewhat understandable that when you're young, you don't really consider your super, given that it's quite a few decades away where you'll be able to access that funds. But I'd actually argue that when you're young, it's actually the most important time to consider your super. And I have two reasons why I think that. So firstly, returns compound over the years. So that means that the returns that you receive today is added on to your balance. So your balance gets larger, and then you earn returns on that balance. And obviously we're assuming positive returns here. So you're essentially earning returns on your previously earned returns, and this will amplify when you retire. Now the second reason is that superannuation tends to make up a large portion of your wealth. So at retirement age, the average Australian retires with about $300,000 to $400,000 in their balance. So quite a substantial amount. And just like anyone would thoroughly research before making a large purchase, like a car or a house, I think you should also really carefully consider how your superannuation is invested.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So what is risk in the context of superannuation, and how does it affect investment returns?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, I think first and foremost, the key long-term risk is actually not having enough in your superannuation balance when you retire for a comfortable lifestyle. Now, this can result from various factors, and one of them not taking enough investment risk. So one common and general measure of risk is volatility, which is just what we call how much the price of your investments fluctuate. So you can think of it as a car ride. That's the analogy I like to use. So something with low volatility is kind of a smooth journey and a smooth ride, whereas an investment with a high volatility is something like off-roading, where the journey may be a bit more bumpy. Now you may ask, why would I want an option with more volatility if I can have a nice smooth journey? Well, one important factor to consider is that a low volatility investment, like cash or bonds, tends to have lower expected returns. So we call these defensive assets. And high volatility investments such as shares, and we call these growth assets, tend to have higher expected return. Now, the younger you are, potentially the more risk you can take because your investment horizon is longer. So that means that over the long term, even though your ride may be a bit bumpy along the way, overall and historically speaking, your end balance tends to be greater than if you were invested in, say, a less risky option. Now, I'm referring to past returns here, so that may not be a necessary guide of what's going to happen in the future, and you should always kind of consider your own personal circumstances, your personal risk tolerance, and also consider seeking financial advice when you're making investment decisions.
Very well put. What would you say if someone was wondering, how does Vision Super aim to deliver strong returns to their members?
Yeah. Look, so we focus on really designing and managing portfolios that are robust, and we do this by taking quantitative analysis on the expected performance of our portfolios through normal and stress periods. And one of the ways we try to deliver strong long-term returns in our pre-mixed options is through diversification. So, for example, our balanced growth option is invested across a diverse range of asset classes. So shares, property, infrastructure, fixed income and cash are the main ones. And then within those asset classes, it's diversified across sectors and also different assets. So to make it simple, it's basically about not putting all your eggs in one basket. So we don't know for certain how different types of assets are going to perform in the future. So we believe that if we spread our investments across a broad range of assets, over the long term, it tends to lower the overall portfolio risk and generate more stable returns. Now, another key aspect is that because most of our investments are managed by external fund managers, choosing the right managers for the purpose of achieving our investment objectives is crucial. So we do this through having a rigorous due diligence approach when we're screening managers, and also making sure we're monitoring each manager to make sure that they're doing the right job for the portfolio. And then lastly, the thing I'll touch on is we recognise that investment markets are dynamic, and there's global issues that are evolving daily, which may affect your investment performance. So from time to time, we will adjust how our portfolio is allocated to reflect our outlook on the future. So we do this by thoroughly investigating macroeconomic and market trends, and then coming to a view on how we think each asset class will perform over the next 12 months. So for example, at the moment, we believe that the cumulative interest rate rise by central banks, including the RBA, will result in slower economic growth, which may detract from the returns of shares. So because of that, we're allocating slightly less than we would over the longer term. So there are many other ways that we try to deliver strong returns to our members, and our full list of investment beliefs are on our website, which ultimately guides how we make each investment decision.
Thank you for that, Reuel. These are some of the questions that we get asked regularly. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact our contact centre so that we can get Reuel to do another investment update and answer these questions for us. Also, to our members, if you have questions about anything else in terms of contributions, rolling funds in, please don't hesitate to contact us. We look forward to seeing you next quarter. And again, thank you, Reuel, for that insight.